Well, hi there. Welcome back for a new episode of the Coaching Hive podcast. I think you are going to love what I have in store for you today. In today's conversation with Anne, we are going to be breaking down this concept of what happens when you are stuck in your head. When you have all of these amazing ideas, but it's hard to know what to do first, what to do in what order, or even just flat out where to start. It's easy as an entrepreneur, whether you're a full-time entrepreneur or part-time or somewhere in between, to know what to do next sometimes. Being stuck isn't necessarily a problem, right? We all get stuck for a little while at some point in our business, and a lot of times that gives you some new insights. But being stuck is not a place you want to stay in. If you succumb to that decision fatigue or even indecision, your business is not going to move forward. In fact, it's going to fail. And that's certainly not what we want. Now, building your business is a whole lot like a car, so that each part is going to complement all of the other parts of your business. And hopefully, without all of the tangly mess that can happen in our brains when we think about all of the things that we have to get done. So in today's conversation with Anne, we are going to break down all of the things she has in her brain. We're going to talk about ways to get unstuck when that moment happens, because inevitably, just like a sticky note, you're going to get stuck. It happens. It's part of business. The key to being a successful business owner, a successful entrepreneur, is knowing what to do to get unstuck. The key is knowing who to reach out to, what strategies to employ, and then knowing that just getting going is good enough. You don't have to have it perfect. It doesn't have to be the absolute best next step. You just have to take the next step. So that is what we are going to talk about today on this episode of the Coaching Hive podcast. Now, if you are ready to jump in and maybe get yourself unstuck, grab a paper and pen, because you are going to gain at least one idea that you can implement right today once you finish listening to this episode. So with our theme of simplicity, clarity, and vision for 2022 in mind, let's jump in. I'm Dr. Maura, and this is the Coaching Hive podcast. So today, what I'd love to do is hear a little bit about your business. And then I'd love to see kind of where you're feeling stuck. I know you posted a few things in the survey to let me know where you kind of feel like you're stuck. And let's go from there and see what we can figure out in terms of action items that work for you right now. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have been coaching, in some form or another for probably 15 years.
Okay.
My background is actually business management. And then I became a massage therapist and a personal trainer, got a master's in nutrition. And from that master's in nutrition, that's really like, we spent like entire semesters learning motivational interviewing and like counseling, like not the health coaching side of it, but like counseling people like in nutrition and stuff like that. So there was a lot of coaching that came out of it, and I did some nutrition counseling, but I really jumped right into what we call health coaching right away from that. And for the last 8 years, I've worked for an organization, an employee assistance program that we do health coaching. Oh, it's a little fuzzy.
And,
scope of practice
usually are a little fuzzy on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was texting with a former coworker just earlier, because we were both listening to Arlovsky's webinar on scope of practice that was, just this past hour, and we're like, oh God. we might need to have a little conversation with our employers. and all that time I have been doing private clients here or there, mostly, like word of mouth, or like a psychologist friend I know would like refer me, people every now and then. So I never really was doing private practice wholeheartedly, for lack of a better way to put it. And I want to do that now. I see some big shifts in the industry, and I think it could go a lot of different ways. And I want to be a bigger voice in the direction that the industry is going. And I don't really want to work for other people anymore.
You're done. You feel like you're kind of ready for that next stage.
Yeah. It's, not to toot my own horn, but, like the company that I work for example, I know more about coaching than the people that are creating the product. In fact, the people that are creating the product don't understand anything about behavior change whatsoever. And they're just making stuff up.
And hoping it'll work. And
it's not at all what coaching is. We're not changing people's lives in, 15-minute sessions over the course of 2 weeks. That's not, those types of calls maybe
marathon, not coaching. A sprint.
Yes, exactly. So I just, I would much rather do the work that I know works and is, both fulfilling to me and the people that are looking for support and guidance.
Okay. So it sounds like you have some really powerful motivation to kind of take that next step. And when I talk about, so one of the things that I do is kind of help you think about what it is you want out of your career. So right now you're in the what I call a moped, because you've got a full-time job and then you've got this little private practice on the side, right? So you need some of the key components of a business, but not all of them, because you're not operating full-time. So what you want to do is move from the moped into the car, where you need all of the components of the business now. You really have to do all of the different things, right? And I think you wrote to me about that saying, I feel like I have this really long laundry list of stuff. And
And to add into that, I've been doing like general health and wellness coaching. I'm also working on completing a cannabis coaching certification and want to incorporate that into my work. And this is a whole brand new field. Like it is just like not even in its infancy. Like, people are just like, don't understand this at all. To try and incorporate that in appropriate states.
Right. Of course, you're going to operate within the bounds and the scope of everything and the laws of everything. Of course you are.
And, I have a couple other people that have done this with me and we're kind of navigating it together, but like, we're really just writing our own ticket with this particular piece in the cannabis field. So it's almost, it still feels like two separate businesses right now. It's not.
Do you want it to be?
No.
Okay. You want one integrated business that has different offerings based on your needs or based on maybe even what state you're in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay. So right now you're thinking a business that has two arms, one that includes the cannabis coaching, that kind of stuff. And then just the regular plain health coaching that we all know. And okay. Where do you feel like, who are you helping with your business? Who are you serving in your business?
Who are the people? Yeah. It is mostly, I would say, like 37, 38-year-old to 65.
Okay.
Professional women.
Okay.
Yeah. Professional women. Every now and then, I would say like 3% is men.
Yeah.
I hear you. I think in the industry, in a lot of ways, like, people came into it like, oh, I want to lose weight. Like I need a coach to help me lose weight. And that's even how I talk about it in my business. Like, nutrition and food is the way in to start the discussion about the things that you're looking to change with your life.
Absolutely. Okay. So I heard something really great that I want to spend a moment here on. You said the way in is to talk about nutrition. Okay. So clearly, you've got to be talking about the problem you solve. And I say that with caution, right? We don't solve problems, but you know what I mean? What problem are they looking to us to help them solve, or what transformation happens because they work with us? So can you give me a little bit more detail on what that problem you solve or the transformation you offer is?
Yeah, I definitely lean more towards the transformation word, because people are coming in with saying like, oh, I want to lose weight. Okay. And we have that discussion, but that's not what we're solving. You know, we're helping people, I'm I'm helping people, feel more comfortable in their body, have more energy. And while that is very, very general sounding, it's astonishing what people recognize when they feel comfortable in their skin. That simple thing is not remotely simple. It causes a huge shift for people. And that's really the transformation that's happening, is that people are, comfortable in their skin and are better able to show up in their lives.
So what does it look like when they show up in their lives? Paint that picture for me.
Yeah. So it can be very individual. It can be, being more present with, a spouse, a family member, a child. It can be, finding more joy in their job. It can be something, as simple as recognizing like, oh, I need to pay attention to self-care. And for me, that means, taking a walk with the dog and not wearing my headphones. And I'm just noticing, what's around in nature, the bird sounds or the flowers or my neighbors, whatever it is. So it's, it can be very individual for, whatever stuckness people are feeling, or wherever they feel sticky, like, coming out the other side of that and being able to be like, oh no, this is how I feel now. Like, this is it. I want to stay in this place.
Okay. So I would encourage you to get even more specific in that description. So as you're looking for clients, what I would love to see you do is really paint the picture so that when I read because I'm in your age range, when I read that description of who you're helping and what transformation you're offering, I can see myself in it. I can see that I miss having an engaged dinner with my family, or I want to feel excited when I open the work door every morning, or I walk into my home office. I want you to paint that picture so that when I see you on social media, or I see your website, or you're just talking to me because we've met at a mixer or something, I can say, Anne gets me. She understands. She knows what it's like. Because that's what's going to draw them in.
Okay.
So getting even more specific with that.
Scribbling some modes. Yeah. Okay.
That will being able to do that will also create clarity in all of the things you have to do to run your business. That's why I started there. When you can really describe that very clearly, it makes it easier to market, because now you know who you're targeting. Like, who are you really trying to reach? And what is that person? What are their interests? Who's that person? What are their interests? What are they following? Where are they going to learn?
Right.
Because when you get that specific, you know those things. And it takes time to tweak it, but you're taking some of the uncertainty out of it, some of that overwhelm out of it. Okay. So if you kind of get really specific with the problem or the transformation, you said you like that word a little bit better. I agree with you. I like that. So if you get really specific with that transformation and help people see the future and also see where they are and recognize it's not what they want.
Right.
We got to create that tension, that discrepancy. Think decisional balance, right? If you stay where you are right now, what happens if you kind of change what happens or doesn't happen?
What happens?
We want to create some of that tension, that discrepancy in the two options. Keep going as you are or make a change. Right. And that goes back to the heart of all the stuff that we know with motivational interviewing and the trans-theoretical model of change. It just kind of dovetails.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you think about the biggest challenge that you're facing right now, what would you say? What is it?
I mean, overwhelm. It's that list. So it's like, oh, I have to build my website, and I need to do social media, and I need to upload things into my Practice Better, and I need to, organize this, like create like how the program is going to work, and everything is interconnected.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, I started my website, but then I'm like, oh, I need to like connect that piece to it, or like I need to connect, Stripe or Square to Practice Better, and then I need to like put the link on my website, and then I need to connect QuickBooks. It's that the little pieces, and it's not even the big pieces. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a system in place to help you kind of?
No.
Oh man, your eyes just like bugged out.
No, I don't. And every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I need that. And then I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Are you a list builder? Do you like making lists? Does it calm you or make you more kind of cuckoo?
It calms me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I use it after I make it.
Okay. Think about a list that you've made and used. What was different about that list?
Most of the lists that I've made and used are related to travel and packing.
Okay. What's different about travel and packing that makes that list?
I guess that seems exciting, right? Like I know like, oh, like something super fun is on the other side of this. Like, let's just get this done. So yeah.
What's on the other side of building your business?
I mean, hopefully it's excitement and fun. And I think part of it for me, like some of where the block is that I have been working on this, on and off for so many years. And, something happens, my ex-husband was in the military. So like, we might have to move, or, he was going on deployment, or, then we got divorced, we got a dog, like it just, there's always like the life things that happen.
Yeah.
And now, especially living nomadically, I don't have a routine. I mean, like I get up in the morning and I walk the dog, and that is like the extent of my routine. And every time I try and put one in place, I have to go somewhere else, and there's something new. And that's not necessarily bad, that's how I'm choosing to be right now. But it does throw a kink in some of my ability to, check more things off the list, as it were.
Okay. So let me show you something. I'm going to share my screen with you.
Sure.
Give me a hot moment to do that. So maybe I share the right thing. There we go. Okay. So here is your business as a car.
Okay.
So what if, you've got a lot of thoughts swirling in your brain, and my brain swirls. Yeah. Okay. So what if you kind of made a list of the different parts of your business and kind of had big headings, and you wrote down the things that you're thinking of that apply to those specific things? For instance, your car needs some headlights. You need a web presence. So what if under web presence, you put polish your homepage, polish up your services with an eye toward what transformation you're offering. So focusing on the transformation, and then say, you know what, I need to build a week's worth of social media posts just based on what I've just worked on the website.
Okay.
So there you have like 3 things, that it's going to serve a specific purpose. And they don't all have to get done at the same time. That social media can hang out, but you're building your web presence, right? Which includes a website. It's lots of different things. And so I'm wondering if by kind of breaking it down into the different components of your business, and if you see yourself making some progress, that might help move past the block of there's so much. Let's just kind of break it down into the different components. And one of those is a daily rhythm. Think cruise control in the car. It's so much easier to travel with cruise control than without. It's going to be easier to build your business if you have some kind of daily rhythm and you have the start of one. I get up in the morning and I walk the dog.
Walk my dog. Right.
Okay. So then your next thing might be I eat breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So include that in your daily rhythm or your daily routine. That's something that repeats every day, no matter what. You get up, you walk the dog, you eat breakfast.
Right.
And then maybe it is choose one item. The next thing on that daily rhythm is I choose one item to focus on today. And you can look at your other big lists where you've got things kind of mapped out and you choose one thing that makes sense today with your energy, with where you're at, with your brain space.
Yeah.
Whatever that look, we all have days where
Right.
you think this is not the task for today.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's, I'm a little bit, at least where I'm at right now, like I'm here for a month, but sometimes like every third day I'm driving 8 or 10 hours. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a day to listen to podcasts, then it's a day to listen to podcasts or something like that.
Right.
So, smaller things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then, you say, if I'm driving every third day, well, then what podcast am I going to listen to so that I'm making progress in my business? Where am I feeling stuck right now? Let me find that podcast or those podcasts, load them up. So I don't even have to think. I just hit play and then the next one plays and the next one, and you're good.
Right.
That's putting your steering wheel in your car right there, deciding to learn based on what you actually need to make progress.
Okay.
And so that becomes that part. That's your task for the day is I listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if you were to break it down like that and kind of say, you know what? Yeah, I have all these different pieces, but all I have to do is choose one thing right now.
Right.
I'm not going to worry about all the other things that it interconnects with. I'm not going to worry that, oh, now that I've done this, I have to do this and this and this, because that keeps us from doing number one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot in there.
It is. It just kind of goes, right?
Yeah.
Just choose one thing.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to send you this PDF so that you can see it. But that kind of gives you an idea of maybe where to start. I think maybe having that routine, getting everything out of your head so that it's not just swirling.
Yeah. Making
some lists, knowing that it doesn't all have to be done today or tomorrow or next week or next month.
Yeah.
This is just.
And I'm pretty clear on where that like one big thing, higher level category is going to be. Sorry, my mom is calling.
Oh, Mom.
I forgot that it rings on my laptop as well. When I got out to LA, I did a photo shoot for website photos. Mm-hmm. And it's a photographer that I've been, wanting to work with for years. And we tried to connect when I was living in Hawaii and then times when I was out in New York. And we were able to do that. So, that also, got me excited and I'm like really motivated. So I don't have the proofs back yet. I've just seen, some backup camera stuff. So I think like web presence is definitely, like where the focus is, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about that. Like, let's ride that wave. So that is where I will be starting.
Perfect. So when you think about that homepage of your website, right up at the top, you need a headline that's going to grab attention. It needs to say, hey, I've got the solution. You're here for a reason and I've got the solution. I'm going to help. We're going to work through this together. So it's not going to be focused on your expertise. It's not going to be focused on the name of your service unless that is named in such a way that we automatically.
It's my website is my name. So yeah.
So we got to make sure that right there at the top, we're grabbing that attention. We're making it about the challenge that our clients are having and say, hey, you don't have to stay like this. It doesn't have to be like this. Imagine if One little change could get you more energy in the day, helped you feel joyful walking into work, created a peaceful dinner time where no one's battling to get everyone to put cell phones down.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Right.
So we're thinking, 37, 38 up to 65. We've got young kids up to, young adults in the house, many of whom will be latched to their phone.
Yes.
So just any way that you can say, look, it doesn't have to be this way. You can choose to stay stuck, or you can make some shifts, and this is what we get out of it. So really, again, we're creating that tension in a good way to help them see the discrepancy of where they're at and where they really could be.
Yeah, I like that idea of creating tension, not necessarily saying like creating discomfort, but like you need to feel that there is going to be something different and better on the other side.
Yeah. You got to feel that where you're at right now, it's not your best. And you want to be your best. Most of us are hardwired to want to be our best.
Yeah.
It just goes, even goes back to the concept of survival of the fittest. You're going to survive if you are the best. So why wouldn't we want to be the best?
Be the best. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's very much deep rooted in who we are, is to try and be better.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can bring that to light on your website as you're sitting there really excited, you've got your new pictures. Yes, that's so exciting.
Yes.
I love that you were able to connect with who you really wanted to.
Yeah, finally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I take that as one of those signs that, hey, this is really time for the next step, right?
Yes, exactly.
Lean into it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So far we've talked about the concept of really wanting to move into being a full-time coach for yourself, because you don't really want to be beholden to someone else anymore. You want to create what you want and know that you can serve in a meaningful way with your heart right there at the front, not necessarily all of these things that tie you down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to be able to serve professional women who are in that prime of their life and really help them to live that best life. And the way you can do that is by helping them see the transformation that they can make, how they can actually get there. And so in order to move past kind of the chaos inside, the overwhelm, all the things swirling, you need that rhythm. You got to have the rhythm.
Yeah.
And you can have a flexible rhythm.
Yes, that is important to me.
It's not that you have to do the exact same thing every day. It's that you have to have kind of blocks where you think, hey, you know what? Today I really need to work on my business. This is the block I'm going to use. And it might look like a podcast day because you're in the car for 7 hours, or it might look like, wow, I had that brainstorm in the shower about the headline on my website. Oh, I got to go try it out. Right.
Yeah.
It could be something completely different. It might be that you're networking. You're taking time to sit, if you're doing virtual networking, to sit in some of those groups and really reaching out and offering some value, or meeting new people and connecting for coffee chats, so that you're building your name and your authority and your credibility, right? So it's not just enough to have that website. We got to build that credibility and that authority. People need to see you as the expert, and you've got the background for it, right? You have the experience to be the expert. So now we've got to make sure everyone knows.
Yes.
So focusing on networking might be something that you do on a day that you're feeling particularly gregarious. You're not wanting to sit behind the pillow and just kind of hide from the world.
Right. The extrovert days, not the introvert
the
days.
Extrovert days.
Yeah.
Or when you feel like your introvert tank has been filled enough to allow for an extrovert day where it's not going to drain you for 2 or 3 days after.
Right.
Yeah. I'm a huge introvert, so that's why I say,
and it's interesting because I also think, for me specifically, as I get older, I am much more like, no, I would like to be alone now, which is some of what this, nomadic life is about. Like, I'm just going to go be in the desert with me and my dog for 3 days. Bye. See you later.
Yeah. Yeah. It gives you that time to regroup and to think and just to be.
Yeah. Yeah. At peace.
At peace, that more of that meditation and just moment to be.
Right.
Absolutely. So getting things out onto paper, we talked about that being a big deal so that it doesn't feel as overwhelming. When we have a list, we can check stuff off. And if you like tapping the checkbox on your phone, or if you like crossing it off, do whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I'm
Paperless.
totally a
Paperless.
totally a paper girl.
Yeah, there's something very satisfying about scratching out that line when it's done, right? It's that tactileness. You're like, oh, I have actually completed that.
It's so much better than tapping the little checkbox on your phone or your tablet.
Yeah.
That doesn't do it for me. I need to cross it off. So how is it feeling? I know that, we came into this conversation with you feeling like there's just so much to do. And if we can just focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like looking at it as, the conversation has given me kind of a funnel, right? So like, all of the things were here and I'm, narrowed down, like all of those things have to be done. They'll get done, but now we're not doing it all at the same time. It's a little bit more in order. The order can change, but there's an easier flow there.
Have you read Gary Keller's The One Thing?
One Thing? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Keller with a K?
Keller. Keller. The One Thing. It will give you a different perspective. I'm telling you, just do one thing. And he very much talks about why it's so important and why our tendency to try to multitask these days and say, oh, but I have to do this and this and this and this can get us into more trouble than just doing one thing.
Yeah. I was reading an article this morning about, they didn't use the word flow, but that's really what they were talking about is that, we have this tendency towards multitasking and we're so inefficient in that. If we are focused on one thing, then that one thing will be done in a way that is quality and enjoyable and satisfying. But when we're all over the place, nothing really gets done.
We don't get to check anything off. So having that kind of the one thing in mind, and it's available as an audiobook. So you could always listen to it in the car while you're driving. Yep. That's how I did it. I listened to it in the car or while I was walking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that might be a good one for you to think about, just as because you did say you've got so many things. This is one way to just remind ourselves in a gentle way, hey, it'll get done, but let's do it step by step. Let's make it a little easier. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
So what do you feel like you are going to do in the next week or so on your business, for your business, in your business?
I would say the first thing is really like a brain dump, making that list.
Okay.
And, when I was in business, I did project management. So my inclination is to like do the brain dump, get the list, and then like make them all into like little projects so that I could break down the tasks inside of that. So it's, really looking at that, but making the brain dump for everything, but only breaking down the website stuff into smaller pieces. I don't need to, break down what I need to do and practice better right now because that's not what I'm working on. Okay. So just, focusing on that with the website, which is also a lot of writing, for me, because I don't have a lot of the content for the website written. So that's really where it's going to be, not worried about the design, but like what is going on the website. Yeah.
You might also check out Donald Miller, the story brand guide, building a story brand. There we go. Donald Miller, building a story brand, because that's going to give you a way to think about your website and even how you talk about your business, kind of along the lines of what we were talking about today. It kind of gives you that framework for thinking it through if you're feeling stuck or not really sure
Okay.
what path to take. It's kind of a nice,
how I want to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got a whole podcast, and I mean, it's just,
The name is familiar. So you maybe like in my, mentorship group or something, someone has brought it up before. Yeah.
probably. He's got Business Made Simple, Marketing Made Simple, and Story Brand.
It's the Marketing Made Simple that I remember someone talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So the Story Brand is really all about how are you sharing what you're doing, making it meaningful for the person that's coming to your site, because it's not at all about you, right? It's not at all about us as coaches. It's really about the person that we're trying to serve.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're going to brain dump. You are going to do a higher level of detail for the website component of that brain dump. And then you're going to focus on doing some writing for that.
Yes.
Okay. And that will bring you a lot of clarity in terms of your message, in terms of your programs as you're developing those out. So it gives you that solid foundation.
Right.
Okay.
Good.
How are you feeling?
I feel good. Yeah, I'm excited. I definitely feel clearer, and like I can get off a call and be like, okay, I'll start my brain dump.
Yes. Awesome.
So good. It feels good. Yeah, it does. I don't feel like in that swirly overwhelm of, what do I even start with? What do I pluck out to do next? This is it. I have my action steps.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anne. This is good. This is good.
Thank you.
I just appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time today and sitting down with me. Your episode will be live on April 12th.
Okay.
Okay. But what I'm going to do is today I'm going to send you that PDF I showed you.
Okay.
So that you can have access to that. And I'm also going to send you what I call the Oust the Overwhelm guide. Just some quick reminders to keep that overwhelm at bay. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's always helpful.
Do you have any questions for me or anything else you need from me today?
I don't think so. I think that is a perfect bite. It wasn't too small, wasn't too big.
Okay.
It's just the right amount.
Ooh, that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. So what do you have planned for the rest of today? Because it's still early out there. It's only 10:30. I'm getting in a yoga class. I decided that I needed that, like with all the driving, I need to get in a yoga class. And where I am, I'm in Manhattan Beach. I'm not sure, if you're familiar with the LA area at all. But my brother is only a couple blocks up from the water. So at least once, if not twice a day, I'll do like a walk along the Strand down to the pier. It's like 2 miles back and forth, like with the dog, just to be outside and hear the ocean. And because I lived in Hawaii for 10 years. So being back, on the mainland is different. It's different. So I need the ocean. That is very different.
Yeah. And then, just a little, using this as kind of a catalyst to, just do a little, organization. So, definitely, I actually probably will do the brain dump today, but also, creating that routine, like what are the other things, like not just in my business, but, working on my certification, my full-time job, personal things that I need to do, just putting those things on the calendar, making those appointments with myself.
Absolutely. It helps, even if you don't follow it to a T, it just reminds you of the things so that nothing kind of gets left in the dust.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
That's
wonderful, Anne. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Oh, you're welcome. So now that you've heard a little bit about what Anne is experiencing, I'm curious to know if you have ever felt the same way. I know I have as an entrepreneur. It's easy to have lots of ideas and then get stuck. All of these ideas kind of run around inside your brain, don't they? And in order to make something happen, you've got to get those ideas out. And that looks different for everyone. For some people, it might mean writing them down on a piece of paper so that then you can organize them, sort them, and get started. Other people, it might be talking it out with someone else, like a mentor or some peers. Someone else might just voice record themselves, talking about all of their ideas so that they can go back and listen to it and know that their ideas are all captured. They don't have to worry about losing an important idea. And now they can start working on the next step. The key here is not necessarily which step you take next. It's the idea that you need to take a step. When you are an entrepreneur, it's often the entrepreneurs who are committed to simply taking the next step who are the most successful. It's not necessarily the people who have that amazing business idea or all of the capital behind them to run their business in an elaborate manner. It's not necessarily the people who have run a business before. It's the people who, like you, are ready to commit. It is the entrepreneur who is ready to say, oh my goodness, that didn't work quite how I planned. Well, next step. It doesn't mean that you don't slow down and reflect. What it means is you don't slow down, reflect, and get stuck. You means you have to keep moving forward. So that's what this episode is really about. It's the idea of recognizing that it's easy to get stuck in that indecision or experience decision fatigue to the point that you don't do anything in your business. What if instead, simply taking the next step, not worrying about which next step is the right next step, taking the next step was enough to unlock success in your business, success as an entrepreneur? Remember, at the Coaching Hive, I coach you to build your business like a car so that you are consistently thinking about the different key components of your business, so that you have a mindful vision that underpins everything that you're doing, so that you have a routine to your day, which makes getting all of the tasks that you love and don't love done just a little bit easier. It means that you are clear on your products and your services. It means that you can easily say in 1 or 2 sentences what you do when someone asks. It means that you're seeking out relationships in your community and online. You're building those partnerships every step of the way. Honestly, that's where the gold mine is, building those relationships. Even if those people don't become your health coaching clients, they are going to share what you do with other people. They become your best marketing tool, which brings me to the fact that we also need to think about marketing and sales. How are you going to attract your clients and let them get to know you a little bit before offering them your products and services? You need to think about your web presence. You need to think about your email list. Even if you're thinking, I don't need an email list, I'm going to work in person. Well, you still need to gather contact information. So yeah, you need an email list. You need to have a mentor along the way. You need to have peers that you can sit down and hash through those problems, those challenges that you're having so that you don't stay stuck. You need to think about what you need to learn in order to be successful in your entrepreneurial journey. And once you do that, then the world continues to open up and you can start thinking about growing and scaling your business. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to be an entrepreneur who is stuck, who is feeling decision fatigue or indecision, and watching their business slow down, and eventually halt? Or do you want to be the health coach who is growing their business, who is serving their clients, and who is enjoying the benefits of an entrepreneurial lifestyle? I'm willing to bet you want to be that second health coach, that one who is enjoying the benefits of the entrepreneurial lifestyle. That is what having a blueprint, that's what having mentors and peers to collaborate with will do for you. Just like we sat down today with Anne, talked through what was going on. She was sharing where she was feeling stuck. She created a plan of her own to move forward. That's what it means to be an entrepreneur, to reach out when you're feeling stuck, to get those eyeballs, those ears on what you're doing, to gain some insights, and to have an opportunity to share what it is you're doing so that you can gain more clarity along the way. So this week's task for you, remember, I like to end each podcast with something that you can do this week in your business. So let's do exactly what Anne was working on. Why don't you take some time, set a timer for 20 minutes. If you don't have 20 minutes, go with 10. Set a timer for 10 or 20 minutes. Find a quiet place and write down all of the things that you want to do inside your business or for your business. Get it all down in your notes app, on paper, in your journal, in a calendar, in a Word document. I don't care. Get down all of the ideas that you have, because once those are out on paper, first of all, you can stop worrying that you're going to forget something important. And second, now that you can see it all in one place very clearly, you can start to recognize where the interconnections among the tasks are, as well as what might be most important to tackle first. Now, you may be thinking, what happens if I find 5 most important things to tackle? The first thing I would suggest to you is look for the interconnections. See if these items are interconnected in any way, because that will cut out some of the overwhelm as you are trying to tackle these most important things. Second, ask yourself, what happens if I do task 1 first versus third? Start to notice what things fall into place easier if you do a specific task before another task. This will help you to order them in a way that makes most sense. So even if you have 5 top tasks to complete, you may be able to identify 1 or 2 that need to happen first, and then the others will fall into place. So what do you think? Are you ready to get unstuck? Are you ready to bid indecision goodbye? Are you ready to say no more to decision fatigue? If you are ready, I would like to invite you to go ahead and check out the Coaching Hive Blueprint assessment so that you can get some solid, concrete ideas for taking your business to the next level. In this quick 10 minutes or less assessment, you will have a chance to explore the Coaching Hive Blueprint, explore your business, and in return, receive a report that highlights all of the key elements of your health coaching business, whether you are a full-time entrepreneur, part-time entrepreneur, or somewhere in between. You can find that assessment at coachinghive.com/assessment. You will be asked for your email address so that I can get that report to you. And you'll want to check out those emails that I send to you after you get your report. You might find a really important email in there. Keep your eyes open for that email from me after you complete your Coaching Hive Blueprint assessment. Alrighty, then I look forward to seeing you back here next week for another episode of the Coaching Hive podcast, where a focus on mentoring and community removes the overwhelm, the stuckness of building your successful coaching business and adds in a dose of momentum. Until next time, have a healthy, safe, and happy week.